If you're feeling ironically detached from the downfall of American society, here are some dystopian novels that can help get you through. Vox imagines a near-future dystopia in which women are only given a certain number of words to be spoken per day, and it is a perfectly amenable dystopian novel for today's world. It feels like a kind of sibling to Margaret Atwood's A Handmaid's Tale, and if you dug that book, then you'll like this one. Not a novel, but In the Garden of Beasts is a nonfiction account of the first ambassador to that country from way back when, during that guy's rise, and it just gives a really strange portrait of what it was like to be there before everything got turned upside down. Highly recommended. Red Clocks is not one that I see spoken of a lot on here, so I'm glad to recommend it. It was a zany dystopian novel that was released back in 2018 that imagined a crazy future in which Roe versus Wade were overturned, and it deals with the lives of people who are affected by it. And it's 2025, so this book hasn't aged horribly well, has it? You know, I can't in good conscience recommend It Can't Happen Here by Sinclair Lewis because it can be dreadfully boring in parts and it feels like it comes from centuries ago instead of 100 years ago. But there are also parts of it that are utterly astounding, and your jaw will hit the floor when you realize that history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes really well. It's amazing. It's astounding, and it feels prophetic in a way that I can't even describe without reading passages from it. This one's really popular on TikTok, so I won't spend a lot of time on it, but this book imagines a future in which people are not forced to work for terrible wages. They become the product themselves, and it is one of the most horrifying and eye-opening books I have ever read, and I loved every page of it. Everyone in the world has recommended this book, but I just have to join the chorus. Not a novel again, but it's like a playbook. Finally, I have to say that Handmaid's Tale is one of my favorite novels of all time. Margaret Atwood is a genius, and I love everything of hers that I've ever read. Actually, when I read this book the first time, I thought, man, this is great, but it's so far-fetched. There's no way that anything like this could ever happen in America.